Hello, 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 hello.
Maria, I'm sorry I called you Marie a minute ago. I just want to make sure I had it right.
Testing 1, 2, testing.
Well, now I see that Ted is talking, so I just want to make sure.
Hello, testing.
But that's it. Testing 1, 2.
I can hear you, Zach.
All right, we are.
Good morning. Thanks for coming up. I'm Bonnie. Nice to meet you. This is Zachy behind you. We work together.
Zach, testing 1, 2, testing.
I can hear you. I'm on my phone, but I can't hear your other thing. Sorry. Hang on one second.
Oh, I'm good.
Testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2. I can hear you, Zach.
And now testing 1, 2.
Testing 1, 2.
We're just gonna have it come out of the little speaker right down.
Whatever works.
You can hear it right under there. All right.
I just want to give a little intro for Bonnie, if that's okay.
Well, I wonder what you're going to say.
Well, you just hang tight, sweetheart.
I'm ready whenever you.
We ready to rock and roll?
Yep, ready. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. Well, how many people do we have sitting in amongst our audience here?
We got 5.
Right now, we've got 4 or 5. Oops.
Okay. Well, y'all are in luck, friends. And for those that have tuned in online, because today is a super, super special treat. And you're going to spread the word quickly, I assure you, after hearing about today. But I'd love to just introduce Bonnie Paik, who is formerly Bonnie Bishop, which is just a fabulous name. I've known Bonnie a long, long time, and she has always had a spirit for service and kindness and happiness. And I remember long ago when we were sort of, she brought an idea to me, and we were discussing like what this could look like. I'm just proud of what she's created here, and I can't tell you how much this makes you look like a hero. Your clients will never love you more if they work with Bonnie's team. I'm say this with all sincerity. And I was shocked to see when I looked at her website yesterday that she actually somehow handled the move for the infamous Dave Ramsey. And if you can work with that guy, you can work with anybody. So she has handled moves for some top A-listers from coast to coast. And so I really, really can't say enough about her team and her company, the culture and who she is. So Bonnie, I'll turn it over to you, but I really sincerely tell you all, at any price point client, it is worth an introduction to her team, because they literally can make the move the most pleasurable experience you can even imagine. So Bonnie Paik, everybody, take it away, girl.
Aw, thanks. Sweeter than I thought you were going to be, Ted. Thank you so much.
Come on.
Actually, you did say the word kind, and instantly my husband's image in my head came up, and I'm wondering if he would say the same thing. But anyway, thank you, Ted, so much for the introduction. We go way back. I actually have known Ted since I was in high school, so I really appreciate the introduction. And I also appreciate being here with you guys today. I love that we have Zoom land people, and then also this will go on your internal network within Village and kind of live in the YouTube world for a while. And I wanted to ask, so I know that officially I know Village from forever, but should I be calling it Parks Village? I don't, just still Village?
We are Village until the 21st of April.
So okay, good.
Correct, we are Village.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm glad I got the logo right. Anyway, All right, so again, thank you so much for having me here today. And like Ted mentioned, I own a moving concierge company called Finally Home Services. It's hard to believe Finally Home has been around in May, actually this month, 7 years ago, I obtained a business license for Finally Home. I had no idea even where to go for a business license. And so it really is just a pure miracle that we are where we are. And I'm just so thankful for that. So we are a moving concierge company. I do not use the term concierge loosely. I know that it is a hot word and a lot of people will claim to be concierge in whatever industry they're in. But I'm telling you, when I say concierge, I mean it. When we move people, they really take an opportunity to travel. A lot of our clients are not even in town when we move them. And when that happens, we are bringing in and engaging preferred movers. The movers that are preferred movers for us, a mover is not a mover, is a mover. You could tell me, oh, I just need to get a mover. And I want to know, what is the personality of your furniture? Do you have restoration hardware furniture? Do you have antique furniture? Do you have furniture that your kids have just kind of yucked on for a few years? So we want to take kind of the personality of the furniture within a home, as well as budget, timeline, all of those things, and marry up the right mover to the client. In addition to bringing in those preferred movers, we do full out floor schematic planning. We make sure that beds are made the first night of a move. We bring over refrigerator and freezer food, all of those things that basically the client or the homeowner would want to have happen for themselves. We make sure that pajamas are available, medicines, all of those things. And so the detail within Finally Home Services it's detailed. That's the only way that I can say it. But in looking at kind of what we have done as a company, you know, in 7 years, I've been very thankful, very fortunate to move over 600 clients. And that is a lot of moving. I would say one move a year probably would do it in for most people. And so I'm really thankful. Hi, thanks for joining. But I'm really thankful for all of those moves. And what I can tell you, even though moving 100 people a year, I mean, that is a lot of moving. I mean, no bones about it. That's why I have to color my hair as much as I do. But I also know we have a capacity of moving 100 people a year, and it's a very boutique service. I mean, I will tell you now, our schedule is just about booked until July. I mean, people call ahead. But in all of this work within Finally Home Services, what I have learned over the years is that 80% of people are moving themselves. That's just the reality of it. They are not hiring a mover. They are not hiring a moving concierge company. And so knowing that the majority of people move themselves, I have created an online tool to help you as the agent kind of help those clients with getting their home ready for listing, but then also preparing them with how to move themselves, just like the way we would come in and personally do it. So the steps I have all lined out A to Z for you. And if they're willing to put in the elbow grease, we're going to teach them exactly how to do it like we would do it. And the data shows most people are already putting in the elbow grease because 80% of people are moving themselves. Okay, so at the end of this presentation, what I will share with you, there are a couple of ways to work with us. The first one would be kind of that traditional route of working with Finally Home Services. And then the other route would be how you can empower your own clients on moving themselves successfully. All right.
And I guess what I would add or just jump in and say is that you know, a hybrid of this too is like sometimes your clients are going to explore, you know, it's like they want to do it themselves, but then when it comes down to it, they get super stressed at the end, and then it's too late to kind of engage the help. So as agents, I would encourage you, the best thing that we can do is be a resource to create ease in their life. And I'm telling you this, and this isn't about selling Bonnie service today to y'all that are attending. It's really more to help you understand how to DIY it, but organically, it just so happens that it's like, who is that company again? And she has brochures and all those things that you can put in your listing packet. So at the front end, they can kind of see. And I just would always explain it like, she literally will walk your dog and have the beds made and food on the table if that's in fact what you want. So a hybrid of this and doing it the Bonnie way is what we're trying to help give our clients a chance. So the experience is just better. Sorry, Rebecca, thanks.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. So the goal of being here with y'all today is to kind of share with you my method of getting a home ready for listing. I've kind of coined up this phrase of speed editing. I know that a lot of people get paralyzed when it comes to getting their home ready for listing. And I will say this a million times over every day of the week. I have so much respect for your role as a realtor because you are the glue. You are the really the stake, and everything kind of falls on your plate. Not only is it the marketing of the home, but making sure that it's ready for pictures, and then you got to sell it. And then you know, after, you know, gosh, getting it under contract seems to be the easier part. And then you have to do, you know, everything afterwards. And so a million times a day, I will say that I have big respect for what you do. And so my role at this moment is to hopefully equip you with some strategies on helping your clients get their home ready for listing. Because a lot of times I've actually seen where a home will not go on the market because the homeowner did not do what they needed to do in order to get it ready. And that's sad because we know in their heart and in their mind, they want to sell their house, but they just don't know how to get it ready. Maria, is that true?
Yes.
All day long? Yes, I gotcha. So what I'm going to kind of share with you with speed editing, the role of this is to equip your client on editing their home within 1 to 3 weeks. There are two main factors that I have found that will play a role in whether it's on the 1 week side or on the 3 week side. The first one is how layered is the client? And that basically means how much stuff do they have? Are they considered a minimalist or are they very layered? So that is a big component. And then the other piece of that in determining whether it's 1 to 3 weeks would be the square footage of the home. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through what the speed editing kind of timelines should look like based on how layered or minimal they are. Okay. Oh, wait, it's not. Oh, here's that. Oh, is it the mouse? Oh, enter. I did. That was exactly what. I know. And they did like doink, doink, doink. Okay, let's see. Well, what did you do?
Just click the right clicky.
Okay.
I do something.
Is this, yes, you know a lot. And is this a time where I say, I'm a Mac user? Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Okay, thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, so speed editing. I want to share with you my definition. It is a predetermined start and stop time that you will give your clients to go through every room of their home in order to get rid of things that they don't want to move. And the difference between speed editing and decluttering or organizing, we have a timeline. We have got to get that house on the market. And so the speed editing has distinctive timelines attached to going through the home, which is really important because you want to feel equipped as their agent knowing that they've got traction along the way. Okay, so before we kind of get into the speed editing plan of attack, we're going to look at the definition of how we get to the amount of time a homeowner will need to go through their house. And so I just mentioned a minute ago, the lifestyle is really important. And so I kind of tee up, there are 3 different lifestyles, one being a minimalist, the second one being, you know, are they average, or would you consider your client very layered?
Love that word.
And well, well, you know, I will tell you, and you know, I know we all have a lot of stories, but one of my most memorable clients taught me the term very layered, and I'll just leave it at that. All right. So with the minimalist lifestyle, this, I mean, pretty much as it stands, that we would all know, everything in a home for a minimalist, the items are being used. They generally don't own extra fluff. I mean, they're using what they have in the house. If someone is considered an average lifestyle, I would say this is where, you know, it's cozy yet comfortable. However, there are not things on the floor. You can still breathe within the home. And it's nice, you know, and tidy kind of deal. And then on the very layered lifestyle, this is where we know they own knickknacks from every vacation that they ever took. You open up a cabinet and, you know, all the CRAP is, you know, falling out on you. And so we all know that you can pretty much categorize your clients based on one of these 3 categories. All right, so just to make sure, oh, I didn't mean to like put myself there. Hold on. Okay, so just to make sure that we're all on the same page, these are visuals of what I would consider a minimalist lifestyle. The picture on the left with the bookcases, there's still room to breathe. There's nothing on the floor. And then with the closet on the right-hand side, you can see it's very streamlined, very tidy, and pretty much everything in this home, the people are using. This to me is a sample of, probably, I would say average. I mean, it might be a better average. These might be better average pictures, but the main points about these 2 pictures is that in the kitchen, your clients still have items on the kitchen countertops, but it's not like so in your face where it feels like it's just too much. What was the word you used, Maria? Crowded? Mm-hmm. I know. And we actually just had a move this week, and every single appliance, you know, the client wanted visually to have access to. And it's funny. I mean, everybody's different. But I know our goal in getting a home ready for listing is to make sure just the coffee pot is on the countertop, especially for your pictures. Okay, and then the picture on the right-hand side, the main point here is, yes, these bookshelves are full, yet there's nothing on the floor. That's what I would kind of categorize as average. Okay, and then here's a sample of our beloved very layered. And, you know, quirky, which comes to mind with the picture on the left. I mean, people love books. They love records. You know, they've got those items from every vacation. You know, the pantry on the right, I mean, we've all seen it. The big thing is that when you're very layered, you are utilizing even your floor space. And so, you know, this gives me, I'm like starting to sweat a little bit. Pardon? Oh gosh. Oh crap. I'm gonna get kicked out of here. Sorry. I bet this is the only room in your whole home that's like this, right? I mean, okay. All right. And so now that we've kind of walked through what I would consider minimalist, average, and very layered lifestyle, hopefully you can kind of identify your client with one of these lifestyles. And so now that we've got the lifestyle kind of under our consideration, let's take a look at the categories of square footage. And I'm going to bring these together nicely, I promise. Just hang with me. Okay, so when I am kind of determining how much time it will take to speed edit a home. These are the categories of square footage that I have found just kind of to be the easiest. 2,000 square feet or less, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, and then 3,000 to 4,000 square feet. I would say that this represents the majority of homes. I mean, I know, the Nashville these days, there are homes that are a lot larger than this, but I think for the people that we are trying to get ready to list, these are the square footages that you'll probably run up with the most. All right. Okay, so now that we kind of know the lifestyle and we also know the square footage, we're going to take those together and we're going to determine how much time your client needs in order to speed edit their home. Okay, so if your client lives in 2,000 square feet or less, and you consider them to be a minimalist, they will need 3 to 4 hours to get rid of stuff in their home. If they are average, 5 to 6 hours, and then very layered, between 7 and 9 hours. And this amount of time is based on my own experiences of helping people get ready. I think we all know that there's no black and white answer. We all, have plus and minuses when we're dealing with people. But this is from my own experience in helping people get ready. Okay, if they are in 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, what I have found, and this is typically the size of a ranch house, if they're minimalist, 5 to 6 hours, average 7 to 9, and then very layered between 10 and 12 hours. And so backing up to when I mentioned earlier that these speed editing times will take someone between 1 week and 3 weeks. This is how that timeline kind of plays out. So 1 week, you could get 5 hours if you commit to it, 5 hours in 1 week spread out over a couple of days. But if someone is really layered in their home, it's likely going to take 3 weeks to get ready for the market. Okay. What I heard, what is it?
My client and myself. So that's two different projects right now.
All I heard was a, okay. All right. Well, we're just going to keep going. I lost a picture. Oh, there it is. Oh, I don't know why that did that. That's interesting. Okay. So if you're in 3,000 to 4,000 square feet, I know y'all can probably see this from your screen. I give ourselves for a minimalist 8 to 10 hours, 11 to 13 hours if I consider the home average lifestyle, and then very layered between 14 to 16 hours. Okay, so let me get, oh, there we go. All right, so it's really important if we tell a client, hey, you need to schedule 14 hours to edit your home. I mean, that is like a dagger in the heart, and it's kind of takes the air out of someone's balloon. So our job is to break it up into chunks of time that are manageable for people. And what I have found really with a focused time period, 2 to 3 hours is about the most of a time chunk that people can handle, where they're not making rash decisions, where they're not feeling overwhelmed, and really feel like they've got momentum, but it's not like killing them to get it done. So when you have a client, once you've identified their lifestyle and the square footage, I say help them by getting out a calendar and work up an actual kind of to-do in their calendar of these chunks of time. It's really important. I mean, we all have to do it when we are relying on a client to perform the speed editing themselves. You will have to follow up with them. When you make that calendar, or if they make the calendar with you, put those also in your calendar so you can follow up. I wouldn't say, okay, great, I'll see you in 3 weeks. I mean, you are the glue that keeps all of the pieces moving along the way to the closing table. All right. And one thing that is really important too, I've seen some procrastinators in the world say, you know what, forget this. I'm not doing the chunks of time. I'm just going to dedicate an entire weekend to getting this done. And I will tell you, that is the worst decision. Well, I know that's in my opinion. Maybe somebody else, thinks it's a great decision, but that is when we see rash decisions being made, and it's just get to the point of just, oh, forget it, get rid of it. And we want this to be a thoughtful process where, people can feel momentum, but not feel the burnout. So that's why the 2 to 3 chunks of time is really important. Okay, so next I want to show you kind of my sequence of speed editing. And I always like to start with clothing. The clothing could be in the primary closet, your kid's closet, the clothes that you have in a guest closet. And the reason I like to start with clothing is because if something fits or it doesn't fit, whether it's, you gained a pound or if your kids got older or whatever. But it's pretty easy to make those decisions when starting in a closet. So we want to start with clothing. Then we're going to move next into the bedrooms. And when I say bedrooms, this means like a chest of drawers. If you have bookcases, nightstands. Then we're moving into eating spaces. That's your kitchen and your dining room areas. Next would be office and laundry. Then next is living spaces. And then last but not least, definitely not least, the garage, attic, and basement. I save these for last for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I save them for last because usually your pictures as a realtor do not include the basement and the attic. And so if we can get it where we're thinking from the perspective of, we got to get pictures taken, and then this other stuff can get dealt with later, that's what we want to do. But the other reason that I like saving these areas for last is because these really are usually the hardest areas. And we want to kind of build that muscle strength of making decisions, kind of flexing that decision-making muscle. By the time they get to the garage and the attic and the basement, it's a little bit easier because they've been through the other areas of the home. All right.
Bonnie, could I just ask a quick question?
Oh, I got Polly, yes.
So I think that sequence is fantastic. It relieved my anxiety just a tiny bit. However, I did see in that the secondary spaces, I imagine taking everything from the first 7 areas and putting it in those spaces. Do you see that? Do you see that tends to happen?
Is that called denial?
Do you see that tend to happen, and do you address it with folks when you're getting their marching orders, like make sure you're making thoughtful decisions now and don't just dump everything out there, because that's what I'm thinking I would do. And that's often what we see when we're showing homes, when you open the garage or the closet and you see, oh, that's where they put it. And it does affect the showing as well.
Of course. Yes.
When you open the garage and you're like, ah.
Yes. So the biggest consideration with that would be knowing what the timeline is. And I know we are all in the thick of it right now, as far as wanting to get the home on the market right now as fast as possible. If that timeline doesn't allow us to edit, then yes, it has to go in a place where you're not taking pictures, and it will have to be dealt with later. From the experience of successfully moving someone, from the listing process to the actual moving and then to the new home, if we can equip people to do this on the front end, it's going to make it a better transition. I know that that's not the case for everybody. I mean, the time that we have available before listing really dictates whether or not we can do this or not. I mean, so.
And just one quick corollary, when is it time for the pod? For the new hall thing, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
put it there
and then take it away. So the pod generally, and I have that's a whole other rabbit hole with me with pods. But if we leave the pod on property just to have a storage place, really, I say, let's have it delivered. We want to give ourselves 1 to 3 weeks for editing. I mean, let's have it delivered right at that week 1, because you never know when someone's going to feel inspired or get kind of a wild hair outside of those committed timelines. And a lot of times the pod will hold those boxes that are packed or bags, extra furniture, whatever. I don't like when a pod leaves the property. That's like a whole other ball of wax. But if you do get a pod, it's important to know, first of all, if you live in a community, if you can even have the pod, that's always a big question. And then also the pod has to go on a hard surface. It cannot go in grass. Otherwise it'll sink. Yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, these are just dumb things I know from, from, moving people. But anyway, that's a great question as far as just throwing everything inside of a closet. I mean, I know everybody wants to get the listing as quickly as possible, but if we have a moment to take, even if it's just 1 week, 1 weekend of commitment, I think your client will have a better experience in the long run. Okay, so here are some companies that will, if your client goes through and they've got furniture that they want to get rid of and donate, or if they have clothing, anything that is not considered junk, meaning it's donatable, reusable. These are some companies that are here in Nashville that will actually come and pick up at the client's home. Some of these are a little bit quirky, like ARC requires you to put the items either on the front porch or in the garage. They will not physically come into the house. If you have contents like furniture that you physically could not move to a garage for pickup, when you are making those appointments, always ask the contact to say, hey, will you come in the house and pick up these items? And even for companies like Goodwill, you can even take pictures of the items and email those pictures so that everybody knows kind of what to expect at the pickup. Generally, when they're doing the pickups, they will say, how much do you have as far as the quantity to pick up? And they do that so that they'll know how many pickups they could schedule for that day. So will Maria's contents take up half of the truck? And if that's the case, we can schedule maybe 1 or 2 other pickups that day. Is it that bad? Is it that boring?
Thanks for calling it out.
No. Actually, I don't take, you know what? The peace of mind that I have is that it's being recorded. And so it will just live on, in the YouTube infamy. Exactly. But I'll never forget them. No. I'm kidding. But I will say the last thing on the nonprofits that pick up, COVID, everybody cleaned out their house, it seems like, during COVID. And so what I'm seeing right now is generally a 2 to 3 week timeline in order to get pickup scheduled. Now, you could always take the things in your car yourself, but if you do need an in-home pickup, that's how much time I would give to do that. Okay, so a junk removal service, this is what I kind of liken to the easy button. Junk removal services are awesome to come in and just get it out of your hair. It's fast, ready to go. All you have to do, like the commercial says, you just point and then they pick it up. And some of the companies that we work with, kind of the commercials that you see, the 1-800-GOT-JUNK, College Hunks, Earth Savers. I will say there is a company that we work with directly here in Nashville, and I love them. It's a company called Junk Drop Nashville, and they will come and pick up and sort the items that are considered junk, and then also donate the items that could be reused by someone. So I love having that service available. And so also what I love about Junk Drop Nashville is that you can go online and schedule a pickup. I mean, it's really easy, and I like the easy button.
Or just putting that in the chat, so because I want to save it.
Yeah.
Junk Drop Nashville.
Yes. And that's their website is Junk Drop Nashville. The guys that own it here in town, I mean, they're just upstanding people. They're the same guys that have been showing up for years, and they're just a great company. Yes. I love you for asking me this question because most people don't know that junk removal services charge on volume. And so what they will do is, in most of the junk removal pricing structures that I've seen, is if you take up a quarter of a truck or half or 3/4, they base it on the volume. And that's the exact same way for Junk Drop Nashville. They do it on volume. And there's a reason why they do it on volume. That was actually my next slide. Look at you. Look. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Maria. You are a smart thing. Okay. So with the junk removal service, this is the most expensive option to get rid of items. And the reason it is most expensive is because we are paying for convenience. It is the easy button. When you've got those construction materials underneath a crawl space that nobody wants to get to, they are the ones that are willing to go underneath the house and get those items. When you've got a trampoline that has to be sawed apart, they are the ones doing that work. They can also take down playgrounds. So it is the easy button, but you are paying for that. It is one of the most, if not, it is the most expensive way to get rid of those items. But you will pay for it. If somebody is willing to put in a little bit of the elbow grease, which is one that I appreciate, I always recommend getting a dumpster. And this is actually a slide from my favorite, who would ever say they have a favorite dumpster company? This is I'm so classy. Anyway, so my favorite dumpster company is a company called Been There, Dump That. And it's Bin as in BIN, BeenThereDumpThat.com. They are all over the country. And what I have found, they're like the most user-friendly. This slide is on their website and it shows you, as far as the volume, what like let's just look at the very top, 2 pickup trucks equals a 4-yard dumpster. Then if we go to the 10-yard dumpster, which is the average size that I see in town, that is the equivalent to 4 pickup trucks. And so they are the only vendor that I have found that really educates the client. Most of them are like, do you want a 4-yard or a 10-yard? And, we don't know. I mean, we don't know, but this really has helped me kind of sharpen my skill set in knowing what size dumpster to get. But if you do rent a dumpster, a couple of kind of pro tips with that. The dumpsters are usually available for you. They will rent them in 7-day increments. So have it delivered on a Friday when you know you are ready to work for that weekend. With Been There, Dump That, they pick up on day 8. So they give you a full 7 days to put in that elbow grease. Something else that's really important too, when you get a dumpster, is just to ask and make sure that there is a door on one end of the dumpster, so that if you have a sofa or something large, you don't have to like hike it over. You can actually walk it inside. I mean, this is all such sexy information, isn't it?
Does a dumpster bin need to be on a solid surface as well?
It does. It does. Otherwise, I mean, especially if it rains, yes. In fact, I've actually seen where it was Pod actually would not put it on a grass surface. It has to be like gravel, cement.
Can you put it on a public street? I don't mean in the middle of the street, but if your house in East Nashville, for example, often we don't have driveways, so a lot of homes don't. We have street parking. Are there rules around that? Can you put it on the street in your parking spaces?
I don't know the answer to the world about that one, but I know like in communities like West Haven or something like that, you have to kind of abide by the rules of the neighborhood. But I'm going to tell you, in East Nashville, I see pods all the time, or dumpsters. So I don't know the specifics, but I know they get delivered over there. So, okay. All right, so I wanted to share with you guys, I know that I had mentioned at the first part of how you could work with us. I did want to share with you, I've created an online course to help people learn how to speed edit their home, as well as pack everything within the home. And so I wanted to share with you how you could get a sneak peek of that. The sneak peek actually has a more detailed, the sneak peek is free. You don't have to pay for that. But it gives kind of a more detailed look at how to edit a home. And so I invite you to check it out. It's free. You can, send your client there to look at that lesson within the course. And the way you get there is just bonniepaik.com, and Bonnie is spelled normal, but it's P as in Paul, AIK.com. And so anyway, I would love for you to check this out because like I said, it teaches you how to edit with timelines, checklists, all how-to videos on how to pack everything within a home. The client gets to choose whether they have 4, 6, or 8 weeks to pack everything up. And then the best thing about it is that it's lifetime access. And so if someone wants to spring clean once a year, and they can go back and learn really the steps to make that happen. So I will just share the course. If you're kind of the average Joe out in the world, it's $197, which it will go up. It is a steal. And, I'm in my launch phase right now, which is why it is at the price that it's at. However, you can get a 20% discount with the code Realtor20. So it takes it down to about $157, $158. So if you want to buy it for yourself, or if you want to buy it for a client, or if you want to say, hey, client, go get this for yourself, this will really help you. Even your client, if they are not a realtor, can go and purchase this for themselves. Okay, I just went over that. All right, and so the last thing before any Q&A, if your client, the 2 ways to work with us, if your client is willing to put in the elbow grease, we know 80% of people are moving themselves. BonniePaik.com is the place to go. But if your client is not willing to do a thing, then send them to Finally Home Services. You can find us there. That is the moving concierge location. Okay, that's it.
Amazing. Well, I started the Q&A part.
Oh, good.
So much there that it got me thinking. All right, folks in Zoom land, if you have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can put it in the chat here, and we'll get those questions to Bonnie, or if anyone here has a question as well. So Bonnie, so a little more about this this course that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something where you you input information, or you read through things, or what's it like?
So it is a series of short videos, bite-sized, because we know that's how most people operate. And it takes people through when they need to edit their home before listing, before packing ever begins. And then once kind of that portion is completed, it takes them through how to calculate the supplies they need for packing, where to order those, who ships them, the kind of supplies that we use to move kind of our concierge clients, all of those things. It also allows people to choose what kind of timeline they want to have with packing. Do you want just 4 weeks, or do you have the luxury of 8 weeks? And then the last part of it is short kind of bite-sized videos on packing everything from lamps to things that won't fit in a box, everything within a home. And so that's really kind of the high level of the course. When someone buys it, they have instant access to all of it. They don't have to wait for modules to drop. They can watch what pertains to them and skip over what doesn't pertain. Like if someone doesn't have a garage, or if they don't have an attic, then don't watch it. Just go to the next section. But in 5 years, they might have a garage or an attic, and then that section would help. And I will say too, with the lifetime access, everybody gets any updates that I make in the future. And so, I'm sure the video and the way I look in videos will change within 5 years or so. And so any of those updates will be provided to people that buy it. So, yeah. Yes.
travel services.
Yes. Okay. Did you see the gulp that just went down my throat? So yes, we do provide travel services. The hesitation in my voice is because up until last year, we used to travel somewhere else and bring people to Nashville. And when I first started doing it, it sounded really cool and sexy and like, oh, how awesome, we're going to Los Angeles and New York and Miami. And we have done all those things. But it is really hard when I don't have the resources. And if something happens, it's really tough. And I will tell you, I had 3 Hail Marys in Los Angeles, and I kind of vowed that I would like, okay, my head has been knocked against the wall enough. So we will travel. The client has to start in Nashville. And so we pack them in Middle Tennessee, and then we will meet them elsewhere. Yeah. But I will say this, if you're looking for movers in other parts of the country, I mean, I've got a great network of people. And so, I'm always happy to send you, who we know. But I mean, I used to be able to answer that so like, awesome. Yeah, we're going, whatever. And the reality of it is that it was tough. It was really tough.
Do you provide services for folks who aren't going anywhere and just really need some help? Those layered folks I've heard of out there, or is that kind of beyond what the too much mission creep there for you all?
So where we really shine and where people know us as Finally Home Services is moving people. And so whenever we have someone that just needs to, get rid of things or just kind of go through, every client of ours is moving. The foundation, the one service that is basically a requirement is that we come in and pack. And so if someone is not moving, that's not a good fit for us. And so we have professional organizer, vendors that we love, and we refer them to those because that's where they shine. Most people don't want to shine when they move, but we're gonna take that. So
Great. I mean, food, but great.
I know.
There was a show on, I don't remember the name of the show, but where people were moving, and whoever was facilitating it had would lay 3 blankets outside the garage.
This is hoarders.
So, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was folks who really had too much stuff.
Yes.
And, and there were 3 blankets. There was keep.
Yeah.
Throw away, and then.
Donate, maybe.
Donate, or not sure, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that. So anyway, that's kind of what, that kind of service. So that falls more into the,
organizing.
What the organizer.
Yes. And I will say this, we are kind of like with the speed editing part, when we have had clients that want to get rid of things before they move, we have to lovingly mirror the pace of the client. We can't come in and just like, go, because everybody is wired differently. And so when I learned that, again, the hard way, I learned lots of things the hard way. I just knew that wasn't where I was making the most impact. And so it really is something a professional organizer, or there are people in Nashville too that are certified senior move managers. There are 2 great companies. One is called Let's Get Moving. The other one is Home and Office Transitions. They've been in Nashville for a long time. They really, their approach is, a little bit much softer than what Finally Home Services is, because we are under timelines. We got to go. Whereas maybe someone in the more mature age category, they need to just take a little slower. They want to discuss memories, have those moments. And just the good Lord did not equip me to do that very well.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. Well, that is helpful. Thank you, especially for, there are in the Realtor community, those who specialize and focus on senior real estate needs.
It's a huge market,
The
huge.
downsizing, the moving, the moving closer to, to family
Mhm.
members and that can be, that there could be challenges there. in
Yes.
Letting go of things. So
Mhm.
that's great. I've got a question from the same link. Teddy Pens asks, what if you have clients or people that are master packers or organizers? Is he looking for contract people?
Is he asking for himself? Is that?
No, we can't get rid of it. It says that loves that your business employs sometimes otherwise non-income earning
That is correct.
home-based folks,
Yes.
stay-at-home parents who can crush it.
Yes.
So that's what.
So I will say this, and my husband's been the only man ever officially employed at Finally Home Services. This company was really born out of a calling, and in that time period, the ladies that helped me get started were all moms from preschool and school, and so it just kind of naturally employed women that were available from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but then had round 2 of life starting at 3:01. And even to this day, our packing and unpacking hours are from 9 to 3 to accommodate the mom lifestyle. On actual moving days, those days, of course, are longer. But if he is asking for someone else, yes, send them our way, Ted. If you're asking for yourself, we'll talk
He
later.
says, we know I'm not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Do you have a question?
Let's see. Well, I would say, can you just kind of go through what you did if a realtor calls you?
Yeah.
To.
For
meet
fun.
with a client or see if you can meet them?
Yes. So Daffy, I love her. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Great.
Yes, and because I know this morning I've been so focused on kind of the DIY part of it, but if you are a realtor and want to, call on behalf of your client, or if your client calls, generally what will happen is Daffy is kind of the one that connects with people to ask those initial kind of qualifying questions. The biggest thing for us would be dates. We know that out of the gate what our schedule looks like, and so dates, what is it that you're moving, where are you moving, all of those questions that then help me feel equipped to then call the client on the phone and kind of walk through some more things. We then set up an in-home appointment, which generally takes between 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on how big the house is and how much the person talks. And then afterwards, I will then email a proposal to people, and I kind of send a menu of services, whether it's with the project management, packing and unpacking, but every client comes in with packing as a foundation, because that's what we have systemized. We've got we are like coming in like the Tasmanian devil, and you would be blown away with how much, the team gets done in 6 hours.
So when you say your name is Bonnie Paik.
Yes,
That's the clue right there.
That's right.
Okay.
it's
Gotcha.
extremely serendipitous. I had no idea when I was marrying my husband that, this would be my life, but yes, it's kind of like Danielle Breezy on Channel 2. Same thing, but it's, Bonnie Paik. So.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, last call. Any more questions?
Thank you, Maria.
There
So sweet.
or in here. Said comments, love this business model and their
Oh.
franchising.
Okay, so we decided not, thanks, Ted. So
All right, we'll edit that out.
it's totally fine. We actually decided, my husband left corporate America in order to head up the franchising part of Finally Home. And when it just got down to it, the amount of effort was not worth the return financially. And that really is the driver as far as why this course was created. Because I've always known that if this works here, this will work beautifully somewhere else. And so just the franchising financially was not a smart move for us. And, we were both like, well, we can really teach people how to do this on their own. Most people are moving themselves. So hence the course. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, if there are no more questions, then we'll say
Thank you. Thank you. I hope people learned something. Oh, the three, y'all made it sound like 20 people were here, but
Well, there are 20 people here, both in body and Zoom.
Yes,
and
yes.
spirit, And waiting
Yeah.
out there on faces. So thank you so much.
Thank
Bonnie,
you.
for sharing
Appreciate
your
it.
expertise today. This really is very helpful. And for those of you who were on our super seller, in for our super sellers panel on Tuesday with Wendy Monday and Mary Beth Thomas, heard so much about the importance of getting the home ready for the listing and that. So this dovetails so nicely and really fills that out as well. So if you have any questions at all, reach out to Bonnie and Daphne. Check out so your website that has the course on it is bonniepaik.com.
you got it.
Right?
And then the way that generally people know us right now is Finally Home Services.
Gotcha.
Either way, you'll find us. So, you know,
All right. Well, thank you.
thank
again.
you. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Ted, for setting this up. I appreciate
You're the
it.
best, Bonnie. Thank you so
Aw.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
I'm feeling terrible about
Do you-
myself now.
What? Stop it.
So my,
Do you-
my husband is a layered human being.
Mhm.
So,
Do you think that, you know, there are some takeaways from that for people?
oh, absolutely.
Okay, good. Because, I
absolutely.
mean,